some members at this point. These are reference designators. We're going to be using these later on in the presentation to adhere to your books. For example, the National Electric Code here. I've not adhered one, but I will adhere one to the book here. You don't need to do this now, but we're going to be sticking these on the books. These are designators that tell us what book we're going to be referencing when it comes to a particular question. So just hang on to those. I've given you some index tabs. Now what these are for is these are nice tabs to use for books that have an index in the back where you can look up things alphabetically, okay? And there's a top tab and a bottom tab here. And how they work is, for example, on the National Electric Code, you can see I've got a bottom tab and then I've got a side tab. Now the side tab can be also used for as a top tab. And the reason you would use it as a top tab is because you have no tabs on the top. And the reason I've given you this is I'm always trying to find efficient and effective ways of getting things done faster when it comes to the exam, because we've got a limited amount of time. So if you've got an index like this at the bottom, then you can just flip to the index page like this. If you've got it at the top, then you can flip to it like that as well. If it's on the side, it's a little bit more difficult to get to. It takes a little bit more time to go to it. So I just supplied those to you. You can put those in your books if you don't have already an index tab there. Okay, so that's what those are for. Use those at your leisure. These are extra tabs, all right? These are just tabs that I'm providing you that are basically extra. I know the Georgia proctors say no handwritten tabs, but I haven't had any issues with it. Just write them neatly across there if you need to use them, and just stick them in the book. They will adhere stronger after a certain period of time. So if you make a mistake and put it somewhere and want to move it, you can do that. But in a couple of days, it's going to be pretty adhered to the page itself. So you'll want to make sure you don't make any mistakes when you put them on. These are bookmarkers, and I'm providing these to you because a lot of times with the National Electric Code and other books, you've got tables and so forth, and you really need a straight edge to make sure you don't get off on that. Whereas you want to make sure you're actually in the straight line across and you don't write the wrong answer down for the question that you're reviewing. So also they're good for putting them into the indexes and being able to go back to the index quickly in a certain section of the index, or even a certain section of a book that you're working on and you want to get back to it really quickly. You just stick this in there and then you can move back very quickly. Strategies for success. Now this is just a little thing I wrote about my exam or my courses are actually called Strategies for Success, because I've developed this strategy over the last 8 or 9 years, and basically it tries to use a system in order to make the exam testing easier and more efficient. And we've been really successful with that. I mean, we normally have a 100% pass rate in our classes. And if somebody doesn't pass, it's usually by one question or so. So as long as you do the practice exams and work hard at this, you'll pass the exam. There's a strategy behind this. This is a sheet that talks about the strategy. We pick basically one book at a time, and we only work at one book at a time. And I'll explain this in much more detail as we move forward here. This is a copy of the Circular E Employer's Tax Guide, the 2015 edition. If you have purchased this from Voltage King or Power Learning Systems, the Employer's Tax Guide, all we've done here is taken a binder and set it up really nice for you here. And if you purchased that, then you want to make sure that you don't have the 2014 edition, that you've got the 2015 edition, because after January, they're changing now to the 2015 edition. So I've included one of these in everybody's yellow packet just to make sure that you do have the updated edition. And if you do have it in the book, just take it out, throw it away. I mean, you obviously can use it if you want to reference it for some reason, but certainly this is what we're going to be going from on the preparation exams that we're doing, as well as at the actual state exam. And then you've got the Americans with Disabilities Act, or at least the responsibilities as an employer guide, and it's about 9 pages here and talks about discrimination with the ADA and so forth. And well, that's what you're not supposed to do. So we'll go over those in the near future with one of the other videos. Now, then I've given you some preparation exams. Now, these exams are ones that I give out to my students, okay? So there's a 4-day course for unrestricted, 3-day for alarm and telecom, and 2-day for general categories. And the students during those 8 hours of that day or more, actually it usually winds up being more, they take these prep exams. And these are questions that I've gotten feedback over the years from students, from my own experiences when I've taken the exam myself. So these are really good questions, and they may not be exactly like they're written on the state exam, but they're certainly going to take you to the sections that are important in the books that you should know where those book sections are located. So when you take an exam like this, you want to obviously read the question, read it thoroughly, maybe that takes 1 or 2 times, and then look at the available choices you have, okay? Sometimes the question you won't be able to figure out what book you need to go to from the question until you look at the available choices. Then you'll get a better understanding of what book it is actually going to be in. So you want to read the question thoroughly, maybe 2 or 3 times, as fast as you can, of course, and then look at the available choices, and then you can make your decision where you're going to go after that and where you're going to find the answer. So when you do these tests, please highlight the answers, and don't just answer the question, oh, I know that, I remember that, and answer it. Look it up. Look up every one of these answers. Even if you know what book it comes out of, you know where it's at, you know the answer, it doesn't matter. I want you to experience looking them up in the book, because you need to learn how to find those answers quickly in the book, and need to know what the structure of the book is, what the table of contents is, and where things are at in the books, and what books cover what areas. And the more you do that, the more you answer questions and you look up those answers, the better off you're going to be during exam time. This is the exact same structure that you have on the state exam. They're all multiple choice, A, B, C, or D. Okay, so there's no true and false, no essay, anything like that. But there is quite a few questions. I mean, for the unrestricted category, you've got 105 questions in 4 hours, and that's about 2.5 minutes a question. It's not a lot of time. Okay, so you keep that in mind. You got to move through your questions. And then for alarm and telecom, you 85, 90 questions. Still, that's a lot of questions. And of course, general has a lot less. You've got quite a bit more time per question, and not as many books as well. But all these exams are difficult, so you want to spend as much time as you can, practicing before you get in there and you have to do the actual test. Okay, so depending upon your category, you'll have different exams. If you're unrestricted, you'll have 4 exams. You'll have the business and the job site safety exam, the electrical safety exam, which is the National Electric Code, fire and security exam, which is the UL books and the NFPA fire alarm books, and then you'll have the actual telecom exam as well. If you're alarmed, then you just won't have the telecom exam. If you're telecommunications category, then you won't have the fire and security exam. And of course, if you're general, then you won't have the telecom. All you'll have is the electrical safety and the business and job site safety exam. Okay, so that's how it works. And yeah, I definitely would recommend you do those before your exam. Now, some of you I know, I think a couple of you guys might be taking the exam on Monday. You're going to have a very busy week in here. All right, what else do we have in the packet? Your ticket to pass the exam, it's just my business card here, and certainly can call me at any time. If you have any questions at all, my cell phone number's on here as well. So in the next couple days, and actually all next week, I will be available. So you can call me with any questions you have. Please call me. And email me. I mean, if you're going to go through these questions and you have issues or questions, write them in an email to me. So, and put them all in all together in one email. Don't send me 10 emails with one question each. I mean, try to put them all together and send them to me. I'll try to answer them in an email. I may have to call you if there's a lot of questions. These exams, you'll be getting the answer keys to these emailed to you in a PDF file format tomorrow on Sunday. But I want you to take these this afternoon if you can, this evening if you can, start with the electrical safety exam, the National Electric Code. Okay, this is your most important book. This category in this book, the NEC, is the most important for everybody here that's taking the Georgia exam. This has got at least 50% of your questions depending upon the category. More than likely, in some categories, it might have up to 70% of your questions are coming out of the National Electric Code. Okay, 2011 edition is the current edition they're testing from. If you have the 2008, I think a couple of you guys might have that. That's okay because they really haven't changed any of the questions, I was told. So the same questions, you can find them in the 2008 edition. But you really should be using the 2011. That's the one that they're actually using. It's in force in Georgia. Okay, so also no handbook. You know, there's a blue handbook that has more pictures in it and so forth. You don't want to use the handbook. You know, it's a lot harder. This is a code book. It's difficult enough going through this, but if you have the handbook, you've got pictures taking up room and a lot of explanation in there that you don't need. You just need the actual codes themselves, okay? You can see I've got the side tabs on these here. These are the ones that you can buy from Voltage King or Power Learning Systems. And we've got in these plastic bags additional tabs we're going to put on the bottom. Over the next several videos, we'll be doing that, okay? So let's keep moving. And like I was saying earlier, you've got these plastic bags. And don't get into these yet. I'm going to go through each and every one of these bags, and we're going to put them on the books, okay, and set them up. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in here: tabs, stickers, some supplementary information, clips, and things of that nature. There's a reason for all that, and it's all in actually order. So if you start going through these and getting all this stuff out and trying to put tabs on and everything, you're going to be pulling the tabs off because you're probably not going to be putting them on the right way. So don't get into these plastic bags on the right-hand side of your packet. Please let me instruct you on what to do with each one of those. So how we're going to roll this out, I think, which would be the most efficient way. I want to try to not give you a lot of stuff that's not going to be related to the exam itself, okay? I'm interested in teaching you as much as I can in a shorter period of time to get you to pass the exam, all right? So I'm going to give you all this information. Tomorrow we'll be doing some PowerPoint slide presentations on the stream as well. And today what we're going to do is basically get some of these stickers and some of this information that we have in the plastic bags put into the books. We're going to keep the plastic bags because we're going to go over the books tomorrow. Tomorrow, Sunday, we're going to review the books, all right? And I'm going to review with you how to take the exam tomorrow. So a couple things there. Okay. So pretty much that's it for this particular video. I'll be doing another one and I'll try to get it running here in another 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes maybe, if all the things go well. And hopefully this will post fine. We won't have any issues on that. Looks like this lasted about 15 minutes. I think I'm going to try to keep all the videos to under 15 minutes. Okay? All right, good deal. Hey, looking forward to working with you guys. I'm excited about this. It's my first online experience. It's been difficult, to say the least. But, you know, like anything you try first time, there's always issues. There's always problems, no matter what. You know, the first system you go out and install, you know, you always have issues. Nothing gets done fast because there's always technical problems, especially in our field, right? We're low voltage guys, so we know all about that stuff. So I'll be seeing you in the next few minutes then.